Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour, live from the Real Talk Studios here in Mount E from New Jersey. Matt Tsutsuti, the Penguin munching, Michael Klankoff, who will have his time in the spotlight today.
Yay.
Right on over here is the great Denson, Dean Sensi, wearing whatever the hell that is. And then on over here is the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
What up?
All right, gentlemen, today, the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can call it 856-889-3434. Visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. Today, we are going to crown the greatest Pittsburgh Penguin of all time.
Yay.
How excited are you, Mikey?
I'm excited. I'm happy the time's here. You know, I was going to do it last week, but, you know, somebody had to go on vacation again. Sorry.
You beat out Brodo
like that
this
he
year.
said
I don't think
again.
he's happy with that.
Listen, we're in competition here, all right? So I'm just trying to beat him this year.
It's not a competition.
It is. Well, why? Because I already won it? Sorry. I guess I already won it, so there you go.
Oh, that's great. So, other than the Pittsburgh Penguins, greatest Pittsburgh Penguin of all time that we're going to be crowning, we'll give any updates going all around the NHL free agency or anything like that, any rumors, any rumored trades or what have you that could possibly be out there. So, gentlemen, anything that you'd like to bring up in that department right now?
Clayton Keller getting extended by the Coyotes, trying to set the market.
8 years.
No.
Yeah, what is it, like seven annually or something like that?
Somewhere around there.
All right,
Then
then.
we have the rumor floating about Mitch Marner. Apparently, it was leaked that they are close. The Marner's camp and the Maple Leafs are close to a 3-year deal, but they're not disclosing the money, half of it. Plus, it's not 100% official yet. So apparently, they're a couple days away.
Couple days away.
Couple days away.
Speaking of couple days away, we are a couple days away from Flyers camp, which opens on the 7th.
Oh, I know.
So I know you're pretty excited about that. I know.
I would be more excited if two people had already signed their contracts, but
Yeah.
oh well, that is what it is.
Surprisingly, they have not yet.
They have not yet.
It's a little worrisome.
I know. I'm more worried. I'm trying to figure out who's more to blame here. Is it Fletcher who's dragging his ass, or is it them because they are waiting for Mitch Marner's contract to be settled?
Well, I guarantee you, it's the second option. They're waiting for the market to set so they can get the maximum that they can get.
Yeah, see where the market lies for, you know, caliber players like that, you know. But one of the things I was talking with a friend at work today, and he was saying that like Prove's looking for like big contract, like nine plus a year, which is more the reason why he probably has not signed yet. So I mean, for a guy like that, do you see his worth being 9+ a year for how he's playing now?
9 a year? No, I don't think he's worth that much. But he's still a very young player. He's still got a lot of growing to do. But you know, having Matt Niskanen on his pairing now is going to help mold him into a much better offensive defenseman. And obviously, we know he's a good defenseman. He's got the ability to use his physicality, and we see the offensive upside. And bringing a vet that can actually lead these guys like Niskanen, and you see these guys taking steps forward instead of steps back because of guys like Andrew McDonald.
And by the way, Matt Niskanen is not on my greatest list for reasons.
Yeah, I see that.
He's a Flyer now.
No, it's not because he's a Flyer. It's because he took Crosby out in the playoff series, and it's more the reason why.
Oh,
that
my
and
God.
also
Here
he
we
was
go.
a Capital for a little while. Although you do have Brooks Orpik in here, so I'll give you that
but
one. So you're meeting it halfway.
I have a little respect level for Brooks Orpik. You know,
None for Niskanen.
winning the Stanley Cup with us.
Niskanen is dead to him.
well, correct me if I'm wrong. Niskanen did win a cup with you, didn't he not?
No, he wasn't on that.
He wasn't on
He
the
left. So he left right before we won back-to-back.
You're right. Yeah,
and then he won one with the Capitals.
Because he was not on
he
the
technically could have
2019.
won 3 in a row if he ended up leaving after we won the back-to-back cups.
Yeah, but, you know, Niskanen chased money.
Well,
So there you go.
And that's one of the things that Brooks Orpik did as well, which I wasn't happy about when it happened. But, I mean, it's all part of the game. And like I said, my respect level, obviously him going to the Capitals pissed me off. But, again, I loved Brooks Orpik for his time here in Pittsburgh. And, you know, I'm happy for him. So.
And he totally gave a middle finger to Colorado.
Yeah, you
That
know,
one-
I'm
he
just
didn't
gonna
even
go
give
back
him
to
the
the
middle
Capitals.
finger. He just fucking straight up fisted him.
Yeah. It wasn't one, it was all of them.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he went back to
Hang on,
Washington.
Let me real quick. There you go.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not joining your team. I'm going back to Washington. I'm going to go back
Yeah,
to
that was
playing with
that was a
them.
pretty shitty move
That was a
on his
shitty
part,
move.
but I mean,
Oh, man, hey, give Washington credit. They were savvy enough to wind up pulling that move off. Like, ooh,
Absolutely.
Washington, you guys are assholes. Remind us never to trade with you. Thank God you're in our division. Well, yeah, thank God you're in our division. I was so used to the divisions being set the opposite way when Washington was not in our division. They were in the Southern Division. And they used to win it almost every year because there was
Yeah.
nobody that could compete with them.
it's still weird.
Anyway.
Weird looking at divisions like that, and it's like, how did this happen? How was Carolina here?
Carolina, yeah,
How's
and that's-
Carolina in
and
the
that's-
Metro?
And by the way, that's the cutoff line because then Florida and Tampa go to the other division. That's
With the
all
biggest question
northern
mark.
Yeah, they go
teams.
all the way up north to Toronto,
Yeah.
They
and
literally-
Boston,
Honestly,
and
they
Buffalo.
They could have kept that division if they just moved Nashville to the east.
Yes, they could have totally, which they probably should have. Hindsight, why would you move Detroit here?
Yeah, I never understood why
Yeah.
Nashville was not in the East.
Yeah, and why also Detroit moved to the East because Detroit, it's like
I think they
all
also.
their rivals are out west.
Yeah.
I
None
think
of
that
them are
I think
here.
that was their split. They wanted to get them away from the typical matchups, and they wanted to try to build their team a different way. Because
Well-
the Red Wings are one of the core four.
But that was the thing, though. The Red Wings and Red Wings and Chicago's rivalry was so big.
It was.
That like when you saw them play 4 or 5 times within the season, it was a game that you wanted to tune into.
Even that.
You know,
Did-
now they
before-
only play twice a year.
And beforehand, Detroit and Colorado, that had
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest rivalries of all time. Usually the winner of that rivalry won the Stanley Cup that
Mm-hmm.
year. So, I don't know. Like, this was not a brilliant move. Now, obviously, if you are a hockey historian, there was a time period when when the Toronto Maple Leafs
Ralph, you got a
were in
point
the
there.
Western Conference. They were in the Campbell Conference for a period of time. But here's the thing. When they moved back to the Wales, all of their original 6 rivals were here. You had New York. You had Montreal. You had Boston. So Toronto really never lost anything. If anything, they gained something from leaving the Campbell Conference and coming back to the Wales Conference. Just saying. I think they gained more than lost. But anyway,
Uh-oh.
they still couldn't win a cup. Anyway, all right.
People are
so-
not happy about tonight. I'm going to warn you about that.
That-
right
I mean,
now.
that's fine. I don't really care.
I thought I got hate last week.
Listen, I mean, obviously, the rivalry between the Devils and Flyers is a big rivalry.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think in today's time, as of right now, it's definitely bigger between Pittsburgh and
Well, yeah,
and Philly.
because,
they
a
actually
certain
compete.
Yeah, that and also a certain somebody is, on the team that no one can stand. Yeah.
That's why I sported the jersey tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure that's why.
Mm-hmm.
He sleeps with it, and he showers with it too, probably.
No, it's not wet.
Yeah.
I showered before I got here.
But
There is even more important news, though, that we're not talking about here, and it's that Pierre Maguire was kicked from NBC.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was shocked
I
that actually happened to be
I
honest
was,
That's the
with
but
biggest
you.
move of the offseason.
It is right now, but to not have that perv in the middle of the box every single game is going to be awesome.
I'm gonna miss his little fun facts though. His little. Did you know
Did
that
you know
while
what-
this guy was in middle school?
Yeah. He chewed bubble gum and then stuck it under the desk.
That
I
was
then chewed that gum 20 years later. He says stupid stuff like that all the time.
that when the
I'm
middle
gonna.
school
I'm,
teacher
I'm
caught
gonna miss that though because I'm gonna have nothing to bitch about when I'm watching. the game.
I remember watching a Rangers game. It was the Penguins and Rangers, and they're like, I remember when Ryan McDonough was 2 years old and he did this. I'm like, how do you know this?
Well, here's the funny part is that you have a problem with him because I could remember Pierre just sucking Crosby's dick every time.
It depends,
but
it depends what mood he's in, though.
Flyers.
It totally depends what mood he's in because like there will be some games where like somebody will take a shot and then that's who he goes with. That's who he's with the rest of the game. I mean, like the whole Capital series.
Well,
2 years ago, like the year that we
Yes,
won,
I remember
the year
this,
we won the cup, and we played the Capitals.
wait
He
a
was
minute.
all over them.
Hold
He was the Capitals were the best team.
Time out here.
Time on. You faced them both times you won the cup.
Well, I'm meaning the most recent in 2017.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So he was all over them, and it was just like they lost the series, and he was like sad. he was like, "Damn, I'm wrong. I'm wrong, just like Melrose, just like all the other experts that they consider themselves."
Well, Melrose, he's not really.
He's the worst expert in any field.
Well, ESPN needs him because he gives them great hockey advice, astute advice. Anyway,
Like
if that's what they
just
call
like
it.
Alex Rodriguez in ESPN.
oh,
Actually, we have to make a debate there. Who's better? Who do we respect more is the better question.
I think Brian already
A-Rod.
has his voice in that, and that's A-Rod.
I don't hate A-Rod, so
I hate A-Rod. He
Now,
can go
he
to
only
hell.
likes A-Rod because he's
Yeah.
banging J-Lo. So,
Thanks, Andy. I appreciate that. You're
It's
not
all
the
right,
first
Brian,
one to say it.
I wish I was banging J-Lo.
Every time A-Rod opens his mouth during any baseball game, he sounds like the biggest moron on the planet. I'm sorry.
As an
almost like
individual, I can't stand them. But I'm probably one of the few people that actually
Hi, I'm
really like
A-Rod.
the ESPN commenting team as a whole. I
Yeah.
think they all work well and play well off each other.
He's just mad because he got stiffed for like $30 million a year with his contract. So.
I can't. All right.
Not
well,
that the Yankees couldn't afford it or anything.
oh, man.
I wish my team had that problem.
Your team's problem is that they actually exist.
Well,
No,
it's
that's
just,
my team's problem.
Yeah. That is a big problem. Is that they got a big payroll. I mean, they are over 500.
They are.
I'm sorry. I forgot this. This is a hockey show.
Is it?
Well, not just that. They lost another game they should have won today.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Who'd they lose to this time?
Cincinnati.
Who?
I think it does matter.
Cincinnati.
Oh, again. Okay.
Again.
Nice.
Another red and white team. They
Anyway.
need to change color schemes up with a lot of these teams. I can't tell the difference half the time. It's like red and white cap. Like, they're both wearing red and white caps. Can you be more freaking specific, please?
Yeah, like the
Please.
Pirates.
The one in the
they're-
white jersey.
Yeah, the Pirates are very
Oh,
unique.
please don't say that because the Players' Weekend, those jerseys were
God,
terrible.
they were
Oh,
horrible.
everything.
You couldn't read them.
The black ones were all right.
Even
the
the
white ones were
players
god
hated
awful.
them.
The white ones suck.
All right.
Yeah.
Even the players hated them.
All right, guys. Back to the hockey rink. We had some fun on the diamond. All right, let's see here.
Back to the rink.
What do we got coming in from our lovely audience that is participating? I'm sorry. Dark Wing's turn. My bad.
Don't take his job away. He gets one thing here.
I know.
Yeah, get one thing.
I'm thinking it's the season and we're doing the scoring update. Go ahead.
Soon. Very, very soon.
Can't wait. Month
What,
away.
Yeah, about 4 weeks. David Rosky chimes in and says, Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
Frank Vespi, hey, yo, sorry to bother you.
That's kind of like what Roscoe will talk about too. I mean, he'll go from talking hockey to wrestling to
I
Or
forget.
Mandy
in the
Rose.
same chat.
I remember Ralph.
Well,
Ralph's
he
making
is
laugh.
here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Get
He
it out of
was.
the way now.
He was. I don't know if he still is, but when we get to his comment, you can.
Damn it. All right. Go on.
Frank Vespi says, hey, yo, sorry to bother. Sorry to bother. Hashtag Mikey Munchin, the hashtag Banana Heads at work. Please have Lemieux and Crosby face off against each other in the first round.
No.
In the first round, no, I'm not.
No.
I'm not
gave-
like Maddie with having Bernie and Bobby Clark and.
No. It was John LeClaire and Eric Lindros.
Okay.
Get your facts straight.
See now, like
I
I
mean-
started filling it out when I started putting the players in. Like I didn't randomly
Oh,
generate
yeah, I
it,
forgot.
but
I got to show you my bracket that I drew up.
I
that
kind
one time.
of generated it myself. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna put this guy here, put this guy here, and I was like, oh shit. Then I started doing matchups that I didn't like. And I was like, well, it's already in there, and I don't feel like redoing this. So just kept
what I
going
did.
in. Yeah.
Ralphie Del Vecchio chiming in.
Everybody here wants to be like me.
that
Who's gonna
Ralphie? 'Cause it
win?
sounds
We'll
like it.
never know.
What?
I like
was
that one better than the other one. It's actually him this time. He's not a star anymore.
All right. Well, with that assault to the
Oh,
ears.
man.
Nice.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
wonderful.
Ralph DeVecchio says, yuck, Penguins history tonight. Fucking terrible.
Well, this.
Sorry.
Well,
What's the
hold
greatest
on, Ralph.
Penguin of all time?
Hold on, Ralphie. Before you jump into your Claude Giroux trade, it's not Penguins history. We're just crowning the best Penguin of all time. If it was Penguins history, I probably would have shot myself by now. But keep on going.
Well, we already did that.
We did, yeah.
How
We
you
did
still
do that
alive?
already.
Because I could deal with it once, dealing with it twice. All right, go ahead.
Ralph says he feels bad for me. Where's the alcohol? Unfortunately, not here.
Yeah.
Rob Lutman, who's a big part of HUD, doesn't really chime in that much. Nice
Hey,
to hear
Rob.
from you, Rob.
What's up, Ralph?
Says, all right, I'm heading out.
He had enough of this already.
That was a shot. Frank Vespi also goes on to say,
We don't play games.
but if that matchup never happened, I got my final four: 1 Crosby, or 1 Lemieux, 2 Crosby, 3 Jágr, 4 Fleury. It's a little different from my final four, but going back to when we were talking about Colorado and Detroit,
Nothing. It was inside joke. Go on.
it's always an inside joke, isn't it? I'm always on the outside.
But you're not. But you're not a part of it, so you're okay.
Yeah, you're on the outside.
Always on the outside.
Damn,
Detroit.
Bean.
Ralph says Detroit has no rivals now.
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
they feel like they do, but
They tried to stretch it when they started doing Wednesday Night Rivalry. They tried to tie a rivalry between the Flyers and the Red Wings because they swept them in that one Stanley Cup final. It's like that was '97. Okay,
that's not a rival.
half the I think one of the people in this room was not even born by the time that freaking series happened. 97. All right, so close enough, but still, you get my
I was
damn
born in
point.
'95.
Same.
I was 93. But anyway.
You're old.
Yeah.
Frank Vespi says Robo Penguin is the best penguin. Ralphie says goodbye, Mr. Clean. And he goes on to make a fun quote about Pierre Maguire says,
Somebody bald here.
fun fact that, no, what?
Mr.
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean
Pierre,
is the bald-
Pierre Maguire.
Oh, that Mr.
Yeah.
Clean. Well, that was like 10 minutes ago. I wasn't sure.
He says, fun fact about him, he played his college hockey at Boston College. Stupid little fun facts that Pierre does that I'm actually kind of miss because I can't.
As long as it's
Not
not
gonna
Ray
make fun of
Ferraro,
him.
just like in a video game, I can't stand listening to him.
You mean Gary
No,
Thorne?
it's going to be Brian Boucher.
No.
I'm happy
Ray
with
Ferraro
Bush.
was in
That's
the
fine
game,
with
but
me. I
that's
can live
okay.
with Bush.
We're not going to argue.
The
with
more
the video
ex-Flyers that get on that broadcast team, the happier I am. I'll just be honest with you.
game. Yeah, well, I like Bush. Bush
Yeah.
in the box, man.
Yeah, Bush is
Yeah,
cool.
Bush is gonna be the box.
Roenick's cool. I like Roenick there. I love Keith Jones. Who doesn't love Jonesy? So, I mean, we're good. Just get rid of Mike Milbury and we're perfect. But
Yeah,
anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
I can't stand
Andy
that.
Ritter, our boy from Houston, Texas, says, attention, attention, breaking news. Penguins suck. That is all. Carry on.
Thank you.
Give that man a medal.
Frank
It's in
Vespi
the
says, oh, I forgot my obligatory hashtag Ryan's Jello comment.
God, no!
And he says that your comment pretty much sums up his entire knowledge of hockey. Ralph says, well, the Flyers open up against the Devils to start the season. Yes, that quote-unquote international series doesn't count for me. They're playing in Prague, yeah. So it is an international series.
It is. They're facing the Blackhawks there, but really the home opener is going to be against the Devils.
Ralph, I'm not quite sure what you mean by this. He says you want to have your career die, go to Jersey.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Okay.
He says Ralph
I'm
is a
staying
star,
quiet.
big, great, big, shining star. That says it's coming from Frank.
What a shock.
Brian Wilson says, what's up, boys? Have a great show. What's up, Wills?
Wills, catch him on agree to disagree.
He said Broda wasn't even born yet.
What are you, Trump, talking about fake news?
Uh,
All right, keep going.
Ralph
guy.
says he was 1. You guys all went on. I'm not even going to say how old I was.
Old enough to actually comprehend what was going on at the time.
11.
Brian Wilson says, born in 95, young twats.
See, that's how
right.
you handle that.
That's right. Maybe. Maybe. Ralph says I was still shitting in my diapers. You still are.
I was going to say, that's something that's still going on here, you know?
Ask him for me if he remembers when he ate the gushers on the air about a month ago.
Oh, God.
It's if you want to catch Ralphie shitting his diapers and with gushers Wednesday night.
Ralphie, you got to tell everybody about the story about the gushers you ate on the air. What did you say, about a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
About a month ago. Wilson, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm old, too.
Wilson has you beat.
He does by like 2 years. If that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's almost old
He's not
enough
the-
to be my dad. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He's older. Wow. That's a bit of a reach. But all right, we're going to keep going.
I'm just kidding.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so 97, I was 12.
Dang.
Middle school.
See, it's,
What happened?
Brian Wilson says Ralph was bald then and is bald now.
I
I don't have much room to laugh.
yeah, but you got yours on
Oh,
him.
that's great.
True. But I really don't have much
The
room
only
to
thing
talk.
Ralph has is his neck beard.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna?
Yeah, at least
braid
I
that,
got
or, you know,
this.
He
We
needs
went
to.
from the diamond talking
It's
facial hair.
Maybe he'll get that like little coif going where he'll have the neck beard
Like a-
so long he'll flip it so
Yeah.
that way it covers his head.
What was it from? Was it from Happy Gilmore? The guy that had the he had the beard that came onto the top of his head.
Andy, I don't like that comment. He says,
I
Bretta,
mean-
how does it feel to be in a room full of senior citizens?
Full.
Ralphie also says, don't eat sour gushers.
It's just on that side of the room.
What, Dean?
What?
That was funny. Don't have to spend $6 on shampoo. All right, fair enough, Ralph. All right. That's it. That's all I got for right now.
All right then.
Very good.
So with that, gentlemen, since we've gone through the rumors and everything, I guess
There's
we
one
might.
more.
Go
that-
ahead.
So, the latest rumor in the Devil's talk that apparently there are some inside rumors going that I know he disagrees with me already, but the Devils are in talks with Winnipeg potentially to get Patrick Laine.
What are they willing to give up for him?
So far, the rumor is David Severson, a top prospect, and 2 first-round picks.
Oh no, I don't know if that's enough to get him. To be honest with you.
I don't think it's enough either, but apparently the offer's already on the table. And
Well, we'll
Winnipeg
see
has
if
not
it-
called back.
Well, if he's not in a red and black jersey by the beginning of the season, I think we'll know where that trade went.
Well, there's a picture floating around of him skating in Europe. I forget where in Europe. But he's in full Winnipeg gear. So I think he has intentions of going back.
He probably
I think
hasn't-
he's just
he's
waiting
probably
for
going back.
Just
The
waiting
problem,
for a contract.
Yeah.
he's just waiting for the contract to go through.
Okay, so with that NHL trade rumors and stuff like that, the shout out to the fam, which by the way, fam, if you can help us out, we would very much appreciate that. We are going through a bit of a love-hate spat, a little couple spat with Facebook right now. Unfortunately, this is limiting the ability we can to spread the show around to groups. If you guys love the show, please feel free. Share us into whatever groups you may be a part of, so that way we can spread the joy to everybody.
Everybody. Yep.
We're the gift that keeps on giving, man.
Since we can't.
Yes, unfortunately.
I really can't.
Thank you,
The
Facebook,
ban
very
hammer
much.
has been dropped.
Yeah. He's
Especially on Brian.
yeah, poor Brian. It's a shame.
I didn't even do anything.
It just happened.
Dude, no.
I'm just like, I'm an innocent bystander.
Got
Pretty
caught
much.
in the crossfire.
What is
I
that? What
wouldn't-
is that? What is that?
The Anaconda's back?
Oh.
I can barely hear it.
Well, I like how I turned it up.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear it now.
Pull!
What are you playing, Duck Hunt over here?
All right, then.
God,
So-
we should have had that going the whole time that he was talking greatest ducks the whole time.
We did.
He did, yes. You forget the torture session? Oh, that's right. You were kind of checked out there towards the middle. You didn't say much during that show.
Yeah, that was played a lot, that
Yeah.
show.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were checked out
You're in
for a good
vacation mode
portion of
again,
that.
so it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
You're already at
Yes,
whatever
Frank,
beach
that was
you
the
were
duck.
at. Yeah. Along with all the damn movie quotes, I think we literally ran out of lines from the movies.
I think we quoted all
I
three.
swear to God, we ran out of all lines. Anyway, now we transition our way into the greatest Penguin of all time, and our Twitter poll question that you can jump in at any time is: will Sidney Crosby surpass Mario Lemieux by the time his career is over?
No.
Agree or disagree? That is the choice you all can make.
I'm going to say yes. And
I'm
the
gonna say
reason why
no.
I'm saying yes is because I think Sidney Crosby is going to wind up playing more games than Mario Lemieux because Mario Lemieux unfortunately
Well,
got sick and he had to miss a few
yeah,
seasons.
The
And
thing
that,
is,
that hurt him.
he doesn't have much more to go. I think actually the season he'll end up passing him well, it wouldn't be most games because I know Gino's played more games than Crosby. in
But you
his
also have to
career.
remember the league back then was way different than the league now.
Well,
The
yes.
goalies were nowhere near as competitive as they are today.
No,
Well, yeah, but
which is why it gives Crosby more credit, in a sense. But I mean, realistically, I mean, I'm not going to dive into what I have in my bracket,
yet.
but there's no doubt that these two are the two greatest of Pittsburgh's history.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And Mario winning 2 cups helps a lot, but you look at his points per game, it's near close to 2. I mean, that in itself is phenomenal. I mean, the way he scored 5 goals 5 different ways in a game, I don't think anybody else has ever done that either. I mean, and it's just the way that he played. I mean, it's just he was absolutely phenomenal, and it's a shame that his career was cut short because of cancer and his back issues and everything else that came along with his career. And it's almost like a second Lemieux in Crosby in a sense, not built wise, but just overall the way that he's like his injuries also with his concussions, but he's also won 3. Well, not also, but he's won 3 Stanley Cups. And had the point award. He's been MVP. He's done all that kind of stuff. So it's just comparing the two. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to compare the two because just the different time frames that they've played in. But personally, do I think Crosby will surpass him? I think the answer is yes. Obviously, I don't think he'll pass him in points, but pass him as in
A player as a whole.
as a whole. Yeah, like as an all-time greatest Penguin. I mean, like, obviously, when you think of the Penguins, you think Mario Lemieux, you think Sidney Crosby. They're the two guys. They're the first 2 guys you're going to think of every time you think of Pittsburgh. And, 20 years down the road, it's going to be, you're going to see Crosby's going to be the first name that pops up instead of Lemieux,
And Crosby's probably got a good 6 or 7 years left in him.
Yeah, easily. I mean,
'cause
he just turned 32.
I was going to say he's close.
Yeah.
I know he's close to my
Question
age
is, will he
now,
pull
but-
Jágr and play up to 45?
It depends where he's at in his career. I mean, he's by the end of his contract, he'll be 37 or 38. So, I mean, at that point, it might be like a Joe Thornton kind of thing where we're going to be like, all right, we'll pay you 1 year at a time and see how you're feeling if you want to still do this. Which, I want him to be at Pittsburgh for life. I don't want him to be like, all right, this contract's over. Like, I'm done at 38 years old, which he doesn't need to be. I guarantee he's going to be a player that he's obviously not going to be top scorer, but he's still going to be able to produce and help the young kids come up in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, he's obviously a guy that you want to keep around once he's, getting ready to retire. But, I mean, that's just where he's at, and he's still one of the greatest players in the league right now, so.
If he winds up being the type of player that winds up playing till he's 45 like Jágr, I don't see any reason why he can't wind up passing Lemieux in points.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough.
Oh, no, I don't disagree. But like I said, if another big thing that he needs to do is stay healthy as well, especially if he wants to
That's the biggest issue.
surpass Lemieux in points.
Yeah, I mean, he's missed games every single year since his concussion year. So, I mean, it's not easy for,
If Lemieux doesn't miss those years due to cancer, he probably could have passed Gretzky.
He would have been a lot closer to Gretzky than people would have thought. And we wouldn't be talking like that. That's the thing. Like, obviously, it sucks. I mean, you can't help cancer.
You can't help that.
It's just something that people are unfortunate and they get that. But if you were to have Lemieux play the same amount of games as Gretzky, they would be so close in points. It would be scary. Like, I mean, they wouldn't be like talking like Lemieux would literally be the second best, if not the best player all time in the NHL. So,
Oh,
damn.
off the hands of Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a holding call anyway. Oh, did he get slammed?
Well, it was a big face mask
Oh,
call.
A-Rod did? Or
No call.
nice.
All right.
Aaron.
A-Rod.
So overall, let's put it to you all this way: if they ever were to rename the divisions, not by like Metropolitan,
The
Atlantic,
Crosby
Pacific,
division.
well, we would have it most likely named Lemieux Division, Gretzky Division. Those would be 2 easy names. Probably Howe Division. That would be another one that would probably get thrown around.
Phil Esposito's division.
Esposito or division. You could go with that. You could go with either one. That basically shows you the kind of player that Lemieux was. He was that good. Even with a shortened career, he was that competitive with somebody like Wayne Gretzky that he could have easily had taken his place. Because he did come into the league a little bit later than Gretzky, so he would have lasted he did last a tad longer than him, but he would have lasted a little bit even more longer than him. Maybe even had played a few years more with Crosby, which would have been really crazy back in the day.
Yeah.
Because he did play about a season, I think, with him
Yeah,
before
it was
he
like
officially hanged it up.
Crosby's rookie year.
Yeah, he officially hanged it up then, but you know, if he hadn't suffered the injury problems and along with, of course, the cancer and everything like that keeping him down, he probably could have played a little bit longer, probably could have played a few seasons with Crosby, which would have been really, really crazy if it had been a few years where you had Lemieux and Crosby on the same line.
Yeah, wow.
That or if you even had Crosby eventually on top line and Lemieux on second, to be like, Jesus.
It would have been fun to watch, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that would have been a
fun to
crazy
watch.
period of time. That really would have.
Lemieux had 199 points in the 88-89 season.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
That is
Part of the reason
absolutely
how he got the nickname Super Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That and also the fact that the Nintendo Entertainment System was like the greatest thing in like the living room at the time, and Super Mario was everywhere. But anyway,
So Lemieux, okay, so Crosby already passed Lemieux in games. So Crosby's played 343 regular season or 943 regular season, and Lemieux's played 915. And point wise, Lemieux has 1723 and Crosby has 1216. So if he averages 100 points for the next 5 seasons, he'll be right up there. Which
I mean, it's possible.
it's possible. The way he's
It's
played
doable
lately,
is a better way to say it.
Yeah.
It's
for
doable.
for him, it should be.
It's just like we talked about Ovechkin and how doable it is for him to pass Gretzky in all-time goals.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is something that is. I actually think that record's going to be broken.
33, and he's got over 600 goals already.
Yeah, he needs to average like 32 goals for the next whatever amount of
Dude
seasons.
averages
like 6
40.
years or something.
Yeah, dude averages 40.
Yes,
It's-
exactly.
if
exactly.
he plays for a while, if he doesn't retire into his 40s, he easily makes it by that total that you were saying on his average, and
Yeah.
he keeps up the play. But anyway,
Dude's a pure goal scorer.
all right, gentlemen, let's get ready. Let's start it up with our brackets.
I love how I go back into the stream. There's Greg just walking by.
Yeah, we had a run-in from Greg, who you'll be able to find on Agree to Disagree this Sunday, by the way, making his eponymous comeback.
Not to cut you guys off, but I wanted to see the Jágr division, but only have Jágr's teams in the division.
So it would be the Flyers, the Penguins, the Capitals,
The Devils,
the
Rangers.
the Rangers, and the Calgary Flames.
Yes.
And the Dallas Stars.
Yes.
That's 7 teams.
Don't
and
forget
2
about
are-
the Boston Bruins.
Oh, and the Bruins. 8 teams right there, and most of them are in the East.
You might as well call
and 2 are in the West.
you might as well call that the Jágr Conference.
That would actually be great. I would love to see that. I would pay to see the NHL actually do that one season and see just what the hell would happen. That would be tremendous. Watch the weirdest team win it, too. Watch, like, Dallas win that whole damn thing. Like, how the fuck did Dallas wind up winning this damn division of all the teams? Anyway. All right. Let's get this started.
Let the torture begin.
Next up.
Yes.
The brackets. We'll kick it off with who else? Mario Lemieux,
There he is.
who we do have on the wall. This one time we will have him
Yeah,
on the
we'll-
wall. He does, and I will say this, he does belong here with the GOATs. He does. He absolutely 1,010% does. So, with that, Mario Lemieux versus Tyler Kennedy. I think this is a pretty safe bet that we all have Lemieux here.
Why is
I
Kennedy,
was
on,
going
why is
to
Kennedy
go
on the list?
Kennedy.
You were going to go
Well,
Kennedy?
this was part of the joke. This is why I needed Trevor here. The only reason I put these assholes on the list was for Trevor, and I haven't even seen him yet.
You could have trimmed this in half. I did top 16.
No, I literally, when I was just putting names down on a paper, I got to like 17, 18. I was like, okay, I
Why
can
don't
still.
you just message Trevor? Just let him know, hey, I did this for you. Start talking.
Good call. I'm going to message him right now. Yeah. Especially because I have another guy that he wanted on the list. Next.
Oh, God.
Oh,
We're doomed.
all right. So, yeah, so we all have Lemieux going on. I'm sure you do, Brian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on Dean has Tyler moving on. He has Kennedy moving on.
No.
Just because he played with the Devils for a
No.
couple years.
Yeah, that and also that,
No,
Brian
Brian
Boucher
Boucher
is also going to
completely.
win this whole thing, as usual.
Look,
But
Brent
anyway.
Boucher's right there, right?
Yeah. All right, next up we have Ryan Malone and Rick Tocchet.
Yes.
I went with Tocchet.
Yeah, I went with Tocchet
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
And no, it was not because he played with the Flyers either.
That's the reason why.
Yes,
said
I
it.
also
Maybe it
went
was.
with
See,
Tocchet.
I
Just a little
tried
bit,
to
just a
throw
little
in a guy that like everybody's played for too.
There's a few that are in here,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, there's
So,
a few.
yeah.
I know one.
Yeah, he's on the bottom of this list.
Actually, didn't he?
Actually, he is.
And he coached, I believe, along with that, too.
Yep.
Chris Kunitz?
No.
No.
I was thinking Randy Carlisle. but-
Yeah, I was thinking that myself.
Wow, the
Oh,
Ducks
no.
fan didn't think of Carlisle immediately.
I didn't think I saw Carl. I'm like, eh.
I went
Well,
through
Kunitz
them all.
And then I saw Kunitz.
For
I'm like, ooh.
certain
Kunis didn't
reasons.
play with the Flyers. So, but anyway.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he
don't
didn't play with the
judge me for this list either. Again, I just ran.
Oh, we're judging you.
No, but again,
We go hard.
I didn't put Lindros and oh my God, Leclerc in the first round against each other. So
I mean, I put
I was
Perry,
fair. I
Perry
gave-
Getzlaf
I
in the
did-
first round
that
of
is
the-
true.
And then
That was
the
pretty
Niedermeyer
shitty.
brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of mad. I gave you a little bit of shit for that before
Yeah,
the
he's
show,
like,
where
no
it's-
Crosby Malkin in the first round.
No. Crosby
Crosby,
Lemieux
Lemieux,
in the
sorry.
first round. What the hell's wrong with you, man? Keep
Shame.
up.
Shame that man.
Don't
There we
you
go.
know the trend that we're
He's,
pulling here?
he's in here now.
After you got him in here.
Yeah. So now we just got to repeat it. I threw Tyler Kennedy in there for you, Trevor, in the first round against Mario Lemieux. So
Who was only good on the Penguins.
and it's a clean sweep
Very
for Tyler
true.
Kennedy, right, boys?
Oh, yeah, totally.
So
Yeah.
What's up, Trevor?
yo, what
Hey,
up,
Trev, how's it going, man?
What's up, Trev?
All right, next up, we have Brooks Orpik and Rob Scuderi. Oh, by the way, did everybody got Tocchet? Or did
Yes.
somebody?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
talk it over Ryan Malone.
All right. Brooks Orpik and Rob Scuderi. I went with Orpik here only because of his longevity with the Penguins over Scuderi, because Scuderi, he kind of took it back to he went to Los Angeles pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
well,
I agree.
So,
I threw Scuderi in here just because of the 1 foot save that he had that
He
ended
did
up
have that,
breaking
yes.
his foot,
He did.
but it ultimately saved the Penguins in winning that Stanley Cup in 09 against the Red Wings. So, more the
Trevor
reason.
agrees.
Trevor
Yeah.
went with Orpik? Yeah.
Trevor
All
went
right, then.
Warpick. Vespi went with Mario in the first one, Tocchet in the second.
Safe to say. All right, cool.
Beautiful.
All right, then. So,
Yeah,
now
so
Orpik.
Orpik. Okay.
Orpik all around? All right, cool.
Damn, I wish these matchups were a little bit
More intense.
tougher. Yeah.
That's why you should have put Lemieux and Crosby in the first round. All right. Next up, we have Chris Letang and Jean Pronovost. Pronovost. There we go. Pronovost was in the powder blue yellow
Yeah.
era, so
Back in the
you may not
70s.
remember him
Yeah,
all that
late-
much
yep.
if you are, unless you are a old timey Pens fan, or if you're Trevor, who knows almost everything about hockey.
Pretty much.
So you know.
But Gene was the first Penguin to score 50 goals and have 100 points for the franchise, so more the reason why he's on here.
At
Great
deservingly
player,
so.
though. Yeah, I mean, he was a longtime Penguin, too, so.
Just because the team couldn't get their shit together didn't mean
Yeah,
they
it was
didn't have good
probably one of the
players.
brighter
Yeah.
points of the franchise there in the earlier years. So.
Yeah.
About
Oh.
the only thing excited to be, the only thing excited to forward was him. So.
Around that time, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's facing off with Chris Letang. I actually went with Pronovost.
Interesting.
Well, no offense to Chris Letang, but his injuries are what really kind of hold me
Yeah.
back on it, because I feel like he could do so much more, but unfortunately he constantly got hurt.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I will say this. He came back from a stroke, which I give him a lot of credit for, but it's just not easy to do by any stretch of the imagination. But, again, it's like every year. You might as well put a stopwatch on it. How long till he gets hurt?
I know.
It always
it's-
happens.
It's been a lot of neck issues for him.
Back issues.
Yeah, he had the neck surgery.
stroke.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
stroke.
and that was very serious.
Yeah, but I mean, again, he's been a Penguin since what was it? 05? He was in the same
He was
the
drafted
same
by
draft
them.
as
Yeah.
Crosby's draft. But
Oh,
what's
I
so
thought you were
funny?
laughing at Vespi's comment.
Yeah.
Trevor
I-
says he needs to read up on the 60s and 70s.
it's
He's
okay.
not familiar with those years yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's tough. It's a time that I never really cared about.
Most
Because
Penguins
one, I
fans
wasn't
don't.
here, and two, they sucked. So, and it's just like the late 90s and the early 2000s. It was like I was scrolling through like points. We had like 56 points in 2000. I was like, God damn.
That was a
That's
rough time
bad.
period. That was a bad time to be
That
a
was
Penguins fan.
Bad.
The glory
So-
years of the early 90s had long since left the Penguins
Oh,
at
yeah.
that time.
Oh, yeah.
But a stretch of bad always leads to a stretch of good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. No matter
is
what
true.
sport you play.
Yeah.
That is true.
I picked the Letang. Looks like Vespi went with Letang. Well, he actually said Chris Laputi-Tang. And then Trevor Harris went with Letang.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Letang as well.
I also chose Letang.
I just don't know anything about the other guy. That's why I went with Letang.
Yeah, same thing with me.
I did.
Sorry, guys.
I did research on him. All right, so there we go.
So- real
Matt,
quick,
you're out
before
in
we
left
move
field,
on.
just to warn you.
Well, I'm the historian here, so I'm not surprised I went with him. So there you go.
So I
We'll
realize
go with that.
I'm the older one here, and I'm going to ask this question to you guys. Do you guys understand Frank's reference when he says Laputi-Tang?
No.
No.
No?
I think he's referencing. There's somebody in our YouTube chat that usually comments on Wednesdays. His name is Pootie.
Pootie Tang. Okay.
There's a reason for that name.
Says the youngest guy here.
It's a movie. It's a movie from the, I want to say,
Oh, here we go.
it was either
Here's our history lesson.
the early, I want to say it was the early 90s.
Okay.
So it was called Pootie-Tang. No.
Come on.
Okay, next matchup.
Kristen Bell wasn't in Pootie-Tang.
All right, next matchup we have on here, we have Marc-Andre Fleury against Darius
say that comment.
Kasparaitis, which Fleury is the Flyers' favorite Penguins goaltender of all time.
Yeah, he would typically let in beach balls.
Yes, typically, only against the Flyers. Everybody
Yeah.
else he would stand on his
There
head,
was-
but for
he-
whatever reason,
He had some kind of anxiety against them.
I mean,
and
it's understandable.
it is understandable, but at the same
Really?
time,
That was
I'm like,
2001?
it was what?
I thought it was earlier than that.
What did you win?
Oh, Kristen Bell was in Pootie Tang. So, hey, there you go, man. The young guy schooling the old guy. There we go.
Well, it's not as old as I thought. It was 2001.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, so it's not that bad.
Frank said Louis C.K. was in it too.
Well, there you go. That just means it was a hit.
Jeez.
Next up.
Well, we see Trevor's vote for this
So
one.
yeah, so
Look at Brody's face is great. We got to get that producer cam. Anyway.
yeah, so Fleury versus Darius Kasparaitis. I obviously went flower power here.
Did you know?
Yes, I did.
All right, then.
Yep.
Says now.
I originally went Kasparaitis because I don't know why. I was half asleep when I was filling this out. And I thought it was Theo Fleury. I'm like, I don't remember Theo Fleury ever playing for. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Jesus Christ. Maybe I
it's-
should have put M.A. first. My bad.
It's all right, man. I mean, Flames, Penguins, it's easy to get the two mixed up.
Marc-Andre Fleury isn't who I'm going to think of. when I
Hey,
think
Jágr
great.
played for both teams, right? It's hard to mix them up.
Yeah.
So I originally went with Kasparaitis, but once I realized who you were talking about, I was like, oh, you know what? No, I can't pick Kasparaitis over him.
Nah, yeah. I mean, obviously Darius Kasparaitis in his time in Pittsburgh was pretty good. Ooh.
Second and 40.
40, that's a first.
Second and
What in the world
40.
just happened?
Second
yeah,
and
the
40 for
Bears,
Bears.
and Packers were on the TV
Jesus
screen.
Christ, dude. This has to be the worst opening day game I've ever watched.
The score is a whopping 7-3 Green Bay right now.
Who'd you guys play last year? No, but that was fun because it came like down. I mean, this game's probably going to come down to the wire too, but it was just another goal line stand by the Eagles defense. Oh. Well, that's different.
Oh, man, how terrible.
That's your fault.
That's your fault.
You went on a cruise ship at 5 a.m.
Oh, man, how terrible.
You should have been home. You should have been home watching the Eagles instead of being on a European vacation. You saw what happened at Chevy Chase.
You didn't see. You haven't seen European Vacation? Oh. Okay. Well, I'm
All right.
sorry.
I'm going to start
the
bringing
age.
us
It
back
throws
into
me
hockey
off.
talk.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Why is the Devils fan making sense? Let's get
I
back
don't know.
to
It's
this.
the
Damn
first
it.
for me. So.
All right, moving on. I went with actually Marc-Andre Fleury. And the reason why I went with Marc-Andre Fleury, by the way, is because he was such a great goalie when we would face him. So, you know.
I also chose Fleury because every time he showed up at the Rock, he just outplayed Brodeur in any instance. He actually owns the record between Brodeur. Whenever they played against each other, he had the winning record.
That's weird. That must be one of the few goalies that actually does, to be completely honest with you, come to think about it. But, Oh, and by the way, the Fleury curse with him not being able to play against the Flyers, that continued when he went to Vegas because the opening game of last season, the Flyers absolutely crushed the Vegas Golden Knights.
They just
in
knew how to
that
get past
game.
them.
And it was in Vegas, by the way.
we were talking about that on the way here. I was so excited that we actually had a game to talk about, like live on our show on opening night.
And Rob was here, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good times, man.
That was good times.
A couple comments real quick
Sure.
before we move on. Michael Chromiak says, "Hey fellas, sorry, but Super Mario will always be Mr. Hockey in Pittsburgh. Suck it, Crosby." Pootie Tang is that some 2 Live Crew stuff, which is true.
Live crew.
And it was 2001. I was wrong. I don't know why I thought it was in the early 90s, but
Shame.
it was.
Pootie Tang.
What else we got? Frank says it was a terrible film, which I do agree.
Frank would know.
Trevor says
Great name, though.
votes for Flower. Vespi votes for Flower and also says Casparitis sounds like a disease.
Oh, my God.
He was a disease. Have you seen the teams he was on? They weren't good teams. They all sucked when he was on them. He was on the Islanders. They didn't do anything. He was on the Penguins. And the Penguins weren't good at that time. So there you go.
Last 2 I got here. Trevor Harris says Devils fans making sense. That's the first.
Yeah.
And he also says, and they also crush him in the first time out there as well, referring to the home opener for Vegas last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was beautiful. Fleury cannot play the Flyers, period. Anyway, moving on.
That's okay. I
Next
don't have
up,
to deal with that now.
We have
No, I have to worry about Murray letting in goals with like 20
Every
seconds left.
single team
against
in the
Capitals.
league.
But
No,
anyway.
against you guys when we have a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, it was one time. It was one time, and now you're all of a sudden putting him on.
In the next game, no.
Well, yeah, okay, never mind. You're right. It happened twice. But it's still too early to put him on the
I
Fleury
wanted
level.
to jump out of my 1-floor house.
That was a great day, by the way, though. Just saying. So was the Stadium Series game when the Flyers
Yeah,
actually
happy.
won an outdoor game for once.
Happy I
But
didn't go to that
anyway,
one.
moving on. All right. Kevin Hatcher and Mark Recchi, who, yes, is subbing out this day. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He played with Lemieux.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
he
anyway.
won the Stanley Cup in 90.
His rookie year.
Yeah, his rookie year. It was either 90 or 91. His rookie year with Mario.
And then he got
then
traded.
won. Yeah, but then he played for a shitload of teams between that time. Came back to Pittsburgh and then won in 09 with Crosby. So it's pretty fun little ride for him there.
Oh, he said he had a great career. Definite Hall of Famer. He's definitely my pick over Kevin Hatcher for sure.
Here's the thing.
Agreed.
Now call me crazy. I actually went with Kevin Hatcher. I did.
It's just him tapping his fucking foot over here. He does it all day.
I went with Kevin Hatcher because of, again, he spent most of his time with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Whereas Recchi, honestly, you might remember him more for his time with the Flyers than you would necessarily with the Penguins. Yes, he won a cup with Pittsburgh, but at the same time, it's like, if you think about it, think about when we were growing up. He was a Flyer for most of that time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like 90% of the time, he was wearing orange and black. So I mostly remember him for his period there, not necessarily for Pittsburgh. You know, even though, yes, tail end he was with Pittsburgh and he was with Boston. I do remember those periods too, but still.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I went with Recchi myself, only because of the fact that his rookie year was straight up phenomenal. He had one of the best rookie seasons. Again, he won the cup in his first year and in his last year. So, you know, he was just an exciting player. He was a great guy that, you know, people like, you know, the young guys coming up like Crosby. Not that he was too young, but, I mean, he was already the captain at that point. But, you know, teaching him the ways and stuff like that, too. So, I mean, I was always a big fan of Recchi. You know, again, he was – when I started really watching, like, hockey a lot, that's one of the guys that I enjoyed watching, so.
Yeah, he a couple comments here. We got Trevor voting for Recchi, Frank Vespi voting for Recchi. Greg Malakovich chimes in, says, hate to admit it, but yes, Crosby will be better than Mario when it's all said and done. I hate him because he's a Pens guy, but the dude is one of if not the best player in the NHL when healthy. What all the dude does is win. I'm going to go throw up now.
I think he was doing that while he was typing.
So if you
I don't blame him.
If you hear any gagging in the background, you know that it's just Greg just taking care of what he has to take care
Recchi
of.
was with the Cup team. in 09.
No. Actually, you know what? Trevor's right. He was with Boston.
So he
when he
was-
won that
okay.
last cup.
So
He
okay.
Yeah.
So he.
But he was a part of the Penguins for a period of time after he was with the Flyers. After his second stint with Philly, he went back to Pittsburgh for a period of
He
So
did
did
time.
play. He
lost.
did play for Pittsburgh. I think he did wind up winning a cup with Pittsburgh, and then he retired because he won one more cup before he retired.
Well, that's what I was
Boston.
saying. That's what I.
It was Boston. Because
Maybe it was Boston.
It was Boston in 2011 because he was on that team.
It was black and gold. I remember
It
that.
was Boston. I remember it distinctly. Remember it being Recchi on that team.
Interesting.
Because I know he went out on top.
He did. He did go out on top. All right. Next up, we have
You're
Phil Kessel.
Bastard. My fault.
Phil Kessel and Maxime Talbot. And by the way, the only real reason I actually knew that was because when the Winter Classic happened between Philly and Boston, I was stunned to see Mark Recchi was still. It's like, oh my God, he's still freaking playing.
Still
How
playing.
the fuck is he still playing? But anyway.
Guy still got it.
But anyway, Phil Kessel and Maxime Talbot. And no, I did not go with Maxime Talbot because he used to play for the Flyers. He only
Why?
played for the Flyers like 2 years. Anyway.
I was so pissed off.
I have his jersey.
Dude,
when he
For
was
Flyers.
Flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was,
was so pissed off when he left Pittsburgh.
I wish I never got that jersey.
Yeah.
and he never
I
came
don't
back.
say that often.
Mm-hmm. Well,
He was
But
only,
I picked Kessel.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's easily Phil Kessel in this one. Easily Phil Kessel.
yeah, I'm going Kessel here.
Despite the hate that the Pittsburgh fan base had for him, strangely enough, though, for whatever reason, it just
I
not
don't think,
you,
I
but
don't think it
other
was the
people,
fan
you
base.
know?
I think it was like the chairman of the board, and literally the box office didn't like him.
But it's just weird. It's like, how do you hate a guy who does nothing but score goals for your team and is a clutch player for you? In
The problem is
postseason?
he's also like in the background. No one thinks of Kessel when you have Crosby and Malkin on the ice.
I get that, but then at the same time, it's like one of those moments. Like, if I had Phil Kessel on my team, I'd be more than happy to say, "Yeah, we got Phil Kessel on our team."
Coyotes
Suck it.
Nation.
Like, yeah, now
he
the
looks,
Coyotes.
he looks horrible in a Coyotes jersey, by the way.
He
You see
looks
that?
miserable.
Oh my God, I'd be miserable too.
Okay, do you blame him?
But
really? Do
again,
you blame him?
he
He's in Arizona.
he also had to agree to that trade, and he agreed to it. So
I mean, he probably
Well,
thought.
he knew that if he didn't agree, he would have been hated more.
You know what it was? I bet you his wife was probably like tapping him on the shoulder, like, "But Phil, it's so nice out there.
warm.
It's warm all the time. Yeah, it's in the middle of the desert, but think you never have to worry about snow like you do in this shitty town."
yeah, pretty. Well, hey,
Well, what's funny is like we're all making fun of the Coyotes, and they're
up and coming.
They're gonna be a playoff team this year.
They probably will.
It's because of Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, it's all because of Rick
Actually, you know
Tocchet.
what's funny? That it might be.
It is.
Yeah.
It
His
is.
system-
I said it jokingly, but I actually meant it.
His system in Arizona is
Yeah.
working. The players are
It
buying
is.
into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it's crazy though, and he actually did play for the Coyotes too. That's the funny
Yeah,
part.
when he left Pittsburgh and took over that team out there, I mean, he changed the dynamic.
Yeah.
did.
You know,
Actually,
so.
isn't that ironic? He left Pittsburgh as a player and went to go play for the Coyotes. Now he left Pittsburgh again to go coach the
Yeah.
Coyotes. It's all weird how things come full circle, isn't it?
Hey, he deserves it. So.
Real quick, Trevor Harris says Talbot, gritty dude. Talbot was in the KHL the last couple of years, and Frank Vespi votes for Kessel.
All right, then. So Kessel, it is.
Let's do the next matchup, and then we'll probably at the.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of the Iggy from Brodo, so we're going to have to head to break soon.
He's putting out the blinding light. There
Yeah,
it is.
he is.
What does that mean? Oh,
Anyway,
We're not
so
finishing
with
this
that,
bracket. This is the problem.
we got
Nah,
our final
we'll fly
matchup
through
here
it.
on this side of the bracket. We've got Evgeny Malkin, or as you like to affectionately call him,
Gino.
against Randy Carlisle, who I think we
Absolutely.
mostly remember for him being a coach, not necessarily a player.
Yeah, well, I only threw his name in here because he actually won a Norris Trophy as a Pittsburgh Penguin.
He did.
So
He did.
You know,
He was a
it's-
solid defenseman in,
Yeah.
in his
In his
day.
day, yeah.
But
I mean, it's you know, it was just one of those like hidden gems that we had in the '80s and stuff. So I figured I'd throw him in the list as just one of those guys that would lose in the first round to Malkin. So
He's that team.
he's like a filler.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
that team at March Madness that's like, oh, it's so amazing you made it
Yeah.
here. Congratulations. Now
Congrats,
please
Florida
go-
Gulf Coast.
Now go
You
get
did it.
go get beat by Kentucky or whatever the hell, or by
Good call.
Villanova or
Good
whatever.
call.
Yeah.
I like that. That was a good pick, Kentucky. It's a good pick.
Hey, see, I'm not completely clueless, just a little bit.
I am.
We already
Anyway.
knew that, but
You are a Devils fan. So anyway, all right, then we're gonna head to break. We all have Malkin in that one, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say.
What is the Ducks fans? Okay, I'm just making sure. I know you.
Listen,
making
he won
sure.
us a Stanley Cup, but that doesn't.
That's
doesn't
why
mean
I
I
was.
think he's a better Penguin than Malkin.
Well, that's why I was just making sure.
He's just making sure favoritism didn't come up.
Yeah.
Oh, they're back.
They're
The
back.
Ducks, they
Those little
returned.
group of penguins, whatever you call a group of penguins. I'm not sure what you call it. A flock. Pff, sorry, my bad.
We call a
Seagulls?
group of ducks. Brian.
No, I love your 80s reference. Is that because the Penguins were only good in the 80s? No.
Maybe.
Correction. They were only good. They weren't good until the 80s. But anyway.
Only Mario's time there.
Yeah. So with that, we will go to break. When we come back, we will continue our breakdown of the greatest Penguin of all time. We will go to the other side of the bracket. And I'll give you a little preview. It starts with a man with a mullet. But anyway.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Oh, trust me. When it comes to a man with the mullet, you know exactly who we're talking about.
I
But
think he's the only
anyway.
one in the world with it.
That's on the other side. We thank you for joining us on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to catch the second half, feel free to jump back onto the Facebook or to YouTube. And don't act like you don't have a Facebook. We know you do. And feel free to give us all the love in the comments section, as well as on the YouTube if you're going to hop on over there and catch the rest of it. But first, we are brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. When we come back, we will see who the greatest Penguin of all time is. So keep it right here. We'll see you right after this, guys. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of the Hockey Happy Hour right here live in the Real Talk Studios in Mountie from New Jersey. This is the Hockey Happy Hour once again on a2dradio.com. The Penguin munching Michael Klankoff, enjoying his time in the sunshine.
Yeah, sorry I picked 32 players, by the way.
Now, really? You're complaining? I picked 32 players.
I know. But
Our teams are the
well,
same.
they are equal in age, so,
Yeah,
I figured I'd get a little mulligan for that.
But we have over here the Darkwing Brian Daly,
What's up?
the Great Denson, Dean Sensi,
Yo.
and behind the board is, of course, the sign guy, Mr. Ryan Brodo. I actually forgot to introduce him at the first part of the show. That is a bad host of the show.
Don't hate yourself, man. It's okay.
No, that's a bad thing. I always that's a good man right there.
You might be bleeped out for the rest of the show,
Yeah,
but
that is a good man right there. He knows when to, hit the right sound effects at the right time.
are you trying to
I'm
cue
not the one
something?
doing it.
No, I know, but usually he does it against you. So, but anyway,
I cue him up.
all
Kind of reminds
right.
me of Antonio Brown right now.
Oh no.
I'm a star.
I've been shining star. Yeah.
We are.
I was referencing that to his altercation with his GM out there in Oakland.
I like the clown video that.
That video was great.
All right.
All right. This second half brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. Smart move. And by the way, folks, in case you haven't noticed, these gentlemen here are wearing a lovely A2D radio baseball caps, as Real Talk also on the back of them. I am wearing an absolutely gorgeous A2D shirt. If you wish to have any of these fine items, you can get in contact with one, Mr. Thomas Arnone.
Or one of us.
Or one of us, and we'll get in contact with him for you. And if you toss us about, what, 25, I believe it is, for the shirts?
25 for 1 or 2 for 40.
2 for 40, that's right.
That's
the deal.
20, I believe.
Yeah, that is the deal going on for you guys, and you can get yourselves some A2D apparel. All right. So with that shameless plug, bang, bang, in there, let us begin with,
The mullet.
yes, the mullet man himself, the ageless wonder of hockey, none other than
Who will never retire.
who will never retire and can still bag himself an 18-year-old Czech model, none other than Jaromír Jágr.
Yes.
The problem is, who'd you put him against?
Joe Mullen.
I wanted to make it a little easy.
A little. It's a shame, too, because Joe Mullen was actually a good
No,
player.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
the
he
shame of it.
He was good, but I mean, I couldn't have anybody. I couldn't have Jágr lose in the first round. Okay?
Of course not.
So I
Just put him up against, like, Pascal Dupuis or something.
no, it's hard enough when
Here, I'm
I
going to save us time. Just completely cross that out.
Yeah,
He gets a bye.
Jágr got the bye into the next round. Anyway, so, yeah, I think we all got Jágr.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Mullet Man moves on. Next up, we go to Paul Coffey and Matt Murray. This one I actually had a hard time picking.
I did too, and I don't know how surprised you'll be with me, but I actually went with Murray.
Really?
I know his
I'm not
time
that
here is short, but he's won 2 Stanley Cups his rookie season, which is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, he hasn't been playing up to par to where he was those 2 years, but the fact that he's 24 years old and has already accomplished that, to me, that's a total win. Obviously, Paul Coffey is one of the greatest players in Penguins history. There's no doubt.
Well,
And-
Frank completely disagrees with you right now.
well, he only said Coffey, so it's not a completely disagree. But, that's fine. I mean, it's tough. I would have had him losing in the next round anyway, going up against Jágr. But,
Spoilers.
yeah, it's a spoiler alert. Woo, who would have thought? But I mean, to me, this is one of those battles that I had a tough time with.
I did too. I actually had to go to the stats.
Yeah, and I sided with Murray just because of more of a recent guy to be on the board too. and a little more favoritism.
I rolled with I rolled with Paul Coffey. He was with the team with Lemieux and Jágr that won the 2 straight Stanley Cups. He was a major part of the defense there as an offensive defenseman. And also a little bias, he did play for the Flyers for a short period. So, yeah, sure. I'm going to go with Paul Coffey on that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, long term, where he was there for what, like 8 years, something in Pittsburgh,
something like that.
Something in that range.
He left midway through the Oilers dynasty and went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and then caught on with that dynasty.
Yeah,
what a shame.
One dynasty.
Feel bad
to
for the
next.
guy.
Yeah, he's like Gretzky. He won 4 cups, but he got to do it with 2 teams. Gretzky never got a chance to actually win another cup with another team.
They got butter on these gloves here. Jesus Christ.
Oh, there we go.
What happened there?
Somebody got hurt.
I think the one player was saying
Thought
that
it
he
was a
had
fumble?
it and thought it was a fumble.
Interesting. But I don't know. Let's see. No, there's no way. But it's on, so we got to talk about it.
No, I'm not being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he never had complete
I
control
just
of
love
that.
the fact that football's back and there's something else to talk about.
About
But there's 2 minutes
Bears
left.
are
Yeah,
driving.
there you go. On the 20-yard line
Go
for the
the
win.
end zone.
Intercepted, and that's the game.
He stinks.
Well,
He stinks.
it's
That is the game.
not yet because Chicago has 3 timeouts, but this has got to be the most boring game of the year.
It's 10-3.
It's the first
is
one of the
score.
year.
That's why.
Okay, folks, just to give you a mind, it is 10-3 in this football game. 10-3. That is not a very exciting game by any stretch of the
No, it's
imagination.
just about as exciting as the Rams and Patriots Super Bowl.
I don't know. I think that might be a more boring game than this one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
no, we'll both suck.
Where we at?
But so now we're still talking. I went Murray. I'm sure everybody else went with Paul Coffey.
I did win with
I went
coffee.
Yeah, I mean
The reasoning why I chose Coffey, though, is that even though Murray got the cups in the beginning of his career, it's because he's not playing consistent. He's not playing up to where everyone expected him to be.
Whoa.
He's still.
It's hard when he
still-
also doesn't have a backup either.
Also, by the way, let us keep this in mind. There's a little bit of an asterisk next to Murray winning those 2 cups because he won the first one completely by himself. The second one,
He needed a lot of
a
help. from the
little bit of
offense.
help
Well-
from the good old Marc-Andre Fleury helped him
but-
secure that second one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Fleury winning the games in Tampa, or no, the second one was in Ottawa. But
Ottawa.
I'm sorry, I get confused. There's too many cups to talk about. But yeah, I mean, Murray definitely needed the help in the second round, but again, he won it. So
Real quick before we move on to the next matchup. Frank votes for Coffey. Trevor votes for Jágr in the last round we had. He says Coffey's more deserving. He's a Hall of Fame defenseman.
He is.
yeah, I mean, again, I'm not arguing either. Like, both guys deserve it. This was probably the toughest of the first round matches for me. So
All right,
And
then. So,
Frank Vespi also says it's Ryan Strzello on the gloves.
no wonder why he's dropping everything.
yeah. Next up, we have Kevin Stevens and Ulf Samuelsson.
Good matchup here, but Kevin
Ulf.
Stevens. I went Kevin Stevens.
I went with Ulf.
Really?
I went Stevens.
Yeah,
Also, by the way, Ulf did play for the Flyers still.
a little biased.
Yeah.
No, but Kevin Stevens played 10 years, I believe, in Pittsburgh. It was 10 years. But phenomenal stats. I mean, he was lights out. So more the reason why I went with Stevens over Ulf. Ulf is,
He was a fighter.
yes,
he liked to fight.
That's why I started
Ulf
grinning as soon as I
absolutely
said
loved
his
to fight,
name.
yeah.
He was just a goon.
That's why he was brought to Philly for a
Yeah.
period of time, because he loved to fight.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I mean, what's the list without him on it? So
Next up, we have.
he said Stevens is the Nick Foles of the Penguins whenever Mario went down.
That is true.
Oh, somebody's
said,
going to be lurking from the woods now.
He
that
said,
Nick
"Oh
Foles
no, I
is
said
turned up.
Nick Foles."
He said, "Oh no, I said Nick Foles." Now he's going to get it. All right, moving on. Ron Francis and Sergei Gonchar.
Yeah, I have a love affair. Well, not too much of a love affair for Gonchar, but I went with Ron Francis.
I went
I
with
actually
Ron.
went with Gonchar.
Yeah.
I went
I
with
went
Ron
Gonchar.
Francis.
Yeah.
I feel like Ron Francis, he made an impact for the Penguins, but I feel like his bigger impact, and everybody knows who he is because of what he did with the Hartford Whalers, Carolina Hurricanes franchise. So,
Yeah, I agree. I just overall, I think, Ron Francis was a little bit better in his time in Pittsburgh than Gonchar was. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Francis was the first captain of the Hurricanes, was he not?
I believe he was.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. All right, moving on. We now go to Pascal Dupuis.
Your favorite Penguin, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely love this guy. Every time we face him, he would
Duper.
score on us.
Duper.
God, if there was one person I wish Danny Carcel would have just taken his head and smashed it through the boards besides Crosby, it was Pascal Dupuis. Anyway,
Wow.
moving on, he
Makes me
has
nervous for Sunday.
Pascal Dupuis, and he is facing off with Martin Straka. Now, I was originally going to go with Dupuis because of his time, of Straka's time with the Rangers, but when I brought up the stats, I realized, oh, never mind. Straka spent a significant time with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
The not so memorable period,
No.
and then leading into the memorable period in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So yeah, Straka won that one for me.
I went with Duper.
So did I.
That's
Of course you went with
definitely biased. For
I'm
sure.
sure
I
yeah, it
loved
was
Martin
biased,
Straka.
yeah.
I really did. I enjoyed Martin Straka, but I have to go with Duper. I mean, it's a shame again that guy that his career was cut short.
It was.
Which circumstances again that he couldn't help.
No.
But I think it's Dupuis and him getting the cup too, which
Yep.
coming over from Arizona.
Because I think if he never retired early, I think he becomes a way better player than Straka.
Oh, big time. Yeah, I mean, it helps too that you're working on a line with Crosby.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where he would have been still. You know?
Yeah, but I also think about and I'll give Straka the credit here. He didn't have. I don't want to say this.
Anybody good?
I was going to say
support
he
structure.
didn't have anybody to the caliber of
Yeah.
Crosby.
No,
No,
he
I
did not. Not,
'Cause
not
by
in
that
the early
point-
2000s.
Jágr was in New York or Washington by that point.
I think he was
Lemieux,
in
I think, was
Washington.
still out being fighting.
Fighting the ownership, really.
Well, not just fighting the
Jesus
ownership, but fighting.
Christ.
Wow.
This
See
would be a
what
big
Tariq-
return.
Yeah,
Reek!
real big
Holding,
return.
so
Oh.
it's 10 yards back.
See them change formation 3 times?
Did they? Was it a legal formation?
I don't know what the hell it was. They changed formation.
But that was a boot. That was a boot.
So,
Look at that. I mean, they're their party. They look like they just won the Super Bowl.
real quick, Brian, who did you have, Straka or Dupuis?
Dupuis.
Dupuis, okay.
Dupuis.
Dean, you had Dupuis? All right, I'm the only one who went with Straka.
Wow, wow.
All right, moving on. Next up, we have Rick Kehoe, another guy from the powder blue and gold era, against Chris Kunitz, who might sound a little familiar to you two gentlemen.
Just a little.
He sounds very familiar for me because I hated his guts. But
Familiar to me because I love that man.
so Chris Kunitz, the man who single-handedly destroyed the Ottawa franchise.
Big time. And you know what? I watched that video today, and it still gives me goosebumps.
I actually, though, and this, again, may call me crazy, but I went with the historical side of things. I went with Rick Kehoe, only
not
because
surprised.
the man was a captain for the Penguins in the not-so-memorable era, but he was a major player for them. It's a shame the team around him just blew
Yeah,
ass
it
through
literally
that time period.
played up to the season where Lemieux came into the
Yeah.
league. So
He passed the
all he had to do, but you know what though? He ended up coaching for Pittsburgh, so he got to coach Mario Lemieux.
at least, yeah.
So I mean, he coached him during the Stanley Cup times, all the way up until 06. He started coaching Wilkes-Barre, and then after that, he's kind of dropped off and hasn't coached since. But
True.
Again, his time in Pittsburgh wasn't the flashiest player, but still solid. I'm going Chris Kunitz though.
just because of that Ottawa goal.
Yeah, I mean, three Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh. The Ottawa goal just rings in my head, and I can't let that go by.
Listen,
and
the
he has
thing-
he has 4 cups because he won with Anaheim.
Ducks, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Jesus Christ.
I want to say he won one more, but I can't remember. But anyway, that's not even going to negate my point at all. But Kunitz is one of those guys where he was just quietly good.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
He never really did anything flashy. He was a hard worker. He was a gritty guy. And when you needed him and you needed something done, like you needed a goal, you needed a nice setup to set up a goal or whatever, he got it done. He got the job done.
I loved Kunitz. I was upset when he left.
I was upset too.
Like I said, I hated his guts, but that shows you how good he was for Pittsburgh for his time. He was there for a long time, too. You would think that with a team that's sporting Crosby and Malkin would not be able to afford a guy like Kunitz for very long, but they kept him around for quite some time.
You want him in a trade?
All right, next up,
sure?
we have what used to be the goaltender you thought of when you thought of Pittsburgh in Tom Barrasso against Alex Kovalev, who did have a period of time with them.
Yeah, not the longest stint.
Not the longest tenure with Pittsburgh, but he was a part of I'm not going to say he was part of the greatest teams in the world, but he was part of the Pittsburgh Penguins for a period of time.
Yeah, I think we all know where I'm going here, and it's obviously Tom Barrasso.
Tom Barrasso, yes.
Wow.
The man set all the original standards of goaltending for the franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yes.
I mean, he's first U.S. born with, I think it was 40 wins or something like that. He had the most wins as a U.S. born for the Penguins.
Was he the first? Was he the first U.S. born to win a Stanley Cup as a goaltender? That's what I'm wondering.
He may have been.
I
know he has some other U.S. born goalie thing.
I'm trying to think if there's any other U.S. born.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Was Billy Smith a U.S. player? He might have been. I'll have
Billy
to.
Smith from the Islanders.
From the Islanders. I'm trying to remember.
He was.
I think you might be. I think that it is Billy Smith, but I'm just going to double check that. Anyway, yeah, I went with Tom Barrasso. Brian, who'd you go with?
I actually went with Kovalev just because I was always a fan of his.
Okay.
I also choose Kovalev. I wasn't around to watch Barrasso. So
either
neither
was
was I.
but when it comes to
I was.
the whole 6 months. But whenever I watch Kovalev play, he seemed like a superstar.
No, I mean, he was good. There was no doubt about that. But, I mean, I'm going Tom Barrasso. Again, he led the franchise in wins. He had the Stanley Cup, everything. So Tom Barrasso was one of the greatest goaltenders until Fleury came. Let's just say that, So.
Frank says first U.S. goaltender to 300 wins.
There you go.
Okay,
So I knew it was some stat. I wasn't sure what it was, but man, they won. They won the Super Bowl. Huh?
They won the Super Bowl.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Aaron got in his face with the stash.
Nice.
That's just in. They won.
Yeah.
Like we were all on the edge of our seat on that.
So
one.
is Chicago's offense that bad, or is the Packers' defense good? Okay.
I hear some bias over there.
It just to me it doesn't matter because they don't have who I have. They're not going to beat who's next.
Yep. All right.
Okay,
We're still not done the first round.
And
All right, we're gonna blow by these other
the
rounds.
next
'cause
round.
we are cutting it close.
The next one
to time
is
here,
Sidney Crosby and Ryan Whitney. I think we all know where that one's
Unanimous
going.
decision.
Whitney!
Ryan Whitney. Obviously, it's Sidney Crosby here.
His
and
drink's pretty good though.
Hmm?
The Pink Whitney. It's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It's an interesting name for a drink. And I was wrong. Mike Karakis, back in the 30s and 40s with Chicago, was the first one to win a Stanley Cup as a U.S.-born goalie. Weird. But anyway, moving on. Next round, semifinals, Lemieux and Tocchet. Lemieux?
Lemieux.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brooks Orpik and John Pronavos for me. You guys?
I had Letang versus Orpik. I'm going Letang.
I had Letang Orpik, and I chose Letang.
I actually chose Orpik over Letang.
And I chose Pronavos. All right, moving on. We have Fleury and Kevin Hatcher.
I had Fleury Recchi, but I'm going Fleury over Recchi.
Fleury over Recchi.
Fleury over Recchi.
Fleury over Hatcher. All right, Phil Kessel up against Evgeny Malkin.
Gino.
I actually have Gino.
I had Gino over Talbot.
Malkin. Easy one. Next up, Jágr and Coffee. All together now.
Jágr.
Anyway.
Coffee. No.
I like coffee, especially with cream and sugar.
All right. Ulf Samuelsson and Ron Francis for me.
I have Ulf and Gonchar.
Yeah, I had Stevens and Francis. I went with Francis.
I went with Francis.
I went with Gonchar.
I went with Gonchar.
All right. Next up, for me, Straka and Keogh.
I had Duper and Kunitz.
And Kunitz.
This might have been my toughest decision here. I went with Cooney, though.
I went Duper.
Did you?
I went Kunitz.
I went Kunitz, and it came down to that goal.
right.
It really did. It really did because it's because I watched the video today. That's the problem. I watched it today. God damn, was that a beauty?
And it single-handedly destroyed a franchise.
Oh, God.
All right, and me, I went with Rick Keough. Okay, moving on. Tom Barrasso and Sidney Crosby for me.
It's Sidney.
It's Crosby.
Yeah.
Crosby all
Crosby.
around. Doesn't really matter who we have facing him. All right, next up, Lemieux and Pronovus for me. I went with Lemieux.
I had Lemieux and Tanger. Obviously, I'm going Lemieux.
I went. Actually, I went Orpik over Lemieux.
Wait, what?
You're bullshitting us. I know you are. I was gonna say, but
That guy-
you
Matt's
said
like,
it so.
"What?"
You said it so calm that it was almost believable.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Well, that was the point.
See, a
I
part
thought
of
it
me,
was going to be like a Boucher thing.
See, yeah, I thought he was fucking with you. That's what I really thought. I thought he was really going to do that.
And you're like, huh? What?
Is it because I was actually worried for your sanity for a moment there. I thought, man, we really did
He
break.
he never had sanity, to be fair.
Well, no, he did until he did his bracket. But anyway,
I also chose
You guys
Lemieux.
broke me.
I don't think I have to speak at that point.
didn't know that bad there. But anyway, so let's see, Fleury and Malkin for me.
This one was tough for me.
I went with Flower.
I went with Malkin.
I went with Gino.
I went with Gino.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Penguins fan's the only one who didn't go with Malkin. That's actually
The only
shocking.
reason I went that way is one, because we have Crosby, and two, if it really wasn't for Fleury, our goaltending would have been ass
What, you didn't
for 13 years.
you didn't have any confidence in Sebastian Caron.
No, he sucked. So I went Fleury only because of that, and I personally am a Fleury fan over Malkin.
All right.
I always was.
Well, you're a Crosby boy since day one.
Well, Crosby.
That and also the
Fleury
fact
was
Malkin is a bit of a hothead, and he does get himself penalized
Yeah,
a little
I
too
think
often.
he was the most
Yeah.
penalized forward this season, actually.
Yeah, but he still,
But
he still has a
he's-
huge offensive.
But he's
upside.
Malkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got Jágr versus Francis for me.
I have Jágr Gonk.
Yeah, I have Jágr versus Francis. I am obviously going Jágr.
Jágr.
Gotta go with that mullet.
Yeah. The Jágr.
Who cares about his play? It's about the mullet.
Next up, we have, for me, Rick Keough and Sidney Crosby.
I had Kunitz and Crosby.
I have Kunitz and Crosby, and
I've
boy, did it come down to the
Duper
goal.
and Crosby.
I went Crosby.
Yeah, it's easy with Crosby.
Yeah.
Now time for
So my final four, as we sit now, is Lemieux, Fleury, Jágr, and Crosby.
Mine's the same pretty much, except for Malkin instead of Flower.
Mine is Lemieux, Jágr, Malkin, and Crosby.
Lemieux, Malkin, Jágr, Crosby.
All right, then. Next
So
up.
I'm the only different one here.
Yeah.
Penguins fan.
Don't talk, Devils fan. All right, moving on. Next up, we have Lemieux and Malkin. And I will say Lemieux.
Super Mario it is.
Yeah.
Mario.
I would have brought Fleury's jersey if it was meant to be, but I brought his tonight.
One too many losses to the Flyers. All right, next up.
That's what it came down to.
Now this is the tough one.
Now we have
This is the tough one.
Jágr and Crosby. In all fairness to the great mullet man himself, the ageless wonder himself, it is hands down Sidney
Crosby.
Crosby.
He's a traitor! Jágr's a
Actually-
traitor!
Only to you.
Sure.
He did.
Literally to you.
I picked Jágr over Crosby. 'Cause
Oh! You might die after this.
Is that
No,
because-
well,
is that
can't
because
go
Jágr-
wrong,
is that
but
because he
it's-
played
no,
for the
you can't. But you got to think. Jágr's got. Crosby still has some time to go,
He does, yes.
and he's gonna surpass Jágr.
You got him
He's
so
gonna-
upset he's sneezing over here.
He's gonna at some point pass Mario.
Sorry.
Your choice gave him a flu. Gave him the Spanish flu.
It's fine. It's not going to be a permanent thing. If we do this, like the next couple of years down the road, we redo this. Crosby's probably going to be over Jágr, but as of right now, at this moment in time, it's Jágr.
All right, then. So, for my final, I have probably 1A and 1B in the history of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I have Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby.
That's
Same
why
here.
I brought both jerseys tonight.
Uh-huh.
Is because I went with
I mean,
Crosby and
Let's
Lemieux.
be honest, that was pretty much bound to happen.
That's called foreshadowing.
There we go.
But yeah.
So do you want me to answer first, since I am the Penguins
Well,
fan?
give your final. Go ahead.
Lemieux and Crosby is
Oh,
my final.
Well, hold on. Well, your final is
Jágr and
Lemieux. Okay, and yours, Dean?
Lemieux and Crosby.
All right, then. So why don't we let Brian do his since his one's different?
Boo. I mean, all our answers are going to end up being the same anyway. It's Mario Lemieux.
All right, then. So mine's Lemieux. Now, here's the reason why I picked
Oh.
Lemieux. He still holds all the records. Crosby will probably break them, but for now, Lemieux still holds them. So Lemieux wins it.
It's Lemieux.
Lemieux. Hands down.
I really thought you were going to go Crosby there for a quick second.
And again, what
It's
Brian,
another situation where if we do this 5 years down the road, all
Yes.
the answers might be different.
Yeah, that's true.
to go with our poll question, will Sidney Crosby surpass Lemieux as greatest Penguin all time? And I do believe that will happen. How long down the road, we don't know.
Nope.
I mean, it could. If he wins another cup, it might be just when they win that next cup. I mean, that's if they do. I mean, that's what it could come down to. So.
I mean, he has won more than Lemieux. He won 3 as opposed to Lemieux's 2. But really, at the end of the day, right now, I think it's going to, like you were saying and like Ryan was saying and everything, as time goes forward and Lemieux becomes more distant, there's still a lot of people that remember Lemieux, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
No one has gone. There isn't enough people in the world that have died off yet to say that. Oh yeah, I don't really remember Lemieux, but I know he was a major player for the Penguins. I'm like, there's still almost everybody who was around when Lemieux got drafted is still here and is still talking about how magical of a time that was when he was the foundation and the leader of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, both guys saved the franchise. Let's just say that.
Yes,
And Mario
that's
did
twice.
it twice.
Yeah.
Mario did it twice. So.
Yeah.
I'll give him the edge.
Yeah.
Today, I'll give him the edge. I'll probably always.
The only thing is, you talk about Stanley Cups as a big factor when it comes to deciding who's better. The thing is, you win the Stanley Cup as a team, not as a solo player.
Well, yeah. And to be fair, though,
But if you're a special player, you're a great player. You're going to take the team on your back, and you're going to carry them all the way through.
here's
True,
the-
but that's
like-
what
like-
both of them did.
Like John. Well, yeah, I agree. But look at Jonathan Quick. The LA Kings, when they won their first one, they weren't the greatest team, but he stepped
He
up
was the
and won
reason
because of
why.
him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, here's the thing, though. You have those players that bring your team to that level. For us, it was Bernie. And, yeah, it was more of a team ever with Bobby and the rest, but it was Bernie. For you, it was Brodeur.
Mm-hmm.
For you guys, it was Lemieux. When you
Yeah.
think about it, you guys would have never won a first Stanley Cup if it wasn't for Lemieux.
Oh, absolutely.
And then on top of it, for you guys, it would be guys either – it would be Teemu Solani because I would say Paul Correa.
Well, you
want
want to say
if
you want to bring up the 2017, it kind of go. That kind of proves Dean's point. There wasn't really a guy on that team that really stood out that like took the team on the back. They were just a well-oiled machine, and they rolled all 4 lines. They got production from everybody.
Yeah.
Defense did their jobs, and J.S. Jágr did his job.
even the other Andy McDonald that was in the league. I don't even think he's playing anymore.
No, he hasn't been playing for years. I think he retired after he finished up in St. Louis.
Ah, I got you.
All right.
All right, guys.
The torture is over.
Well, it's
It
fun.
is. Yes. So
Fun.
there we have it. Mario Lemieux, the greatest Penguin of all time. Will that change? Maybe in the near future. With that, we will say goodbye to everyone once again. Next week, I guess we'll do a little preview of our preseasons since we are literally just a week out from that.
Yeah.
So excitement
You're a
is
couple
in the
days from
air.
the camp.
The rinks are getting all furbished up. The Zambonis are out. The skates are getting sharped.
But
It's
RFAs
almost
are-
hockey time,
Flyers,
guys.
new scoreboards installed.
Yep.
RFAs who are probably going to be finally making their moves.
Oh. So it's going to be excitement in the air. So, folks, we thank you all for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Matt Sansuni, Mikey Klankoff, Dean Sensi.
You had to think about that.
No, I just, every time I see that Devils logo. But anyway. And Brian Daly. Sign guy Ryan Brodo, who's off mic right now, but he'll be back on mic someday.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, once he puts a fifth jack in there. All right, folks. We thank you all for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We will see you next week. Preseason preview coming up. Same time, same channel, 10 o'clock sharp. We were brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434. Visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. We thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Peace, everyone.
Doses.
Good night.